CEO Unplugged gives you a unique perspective from some of the most insightful trailblazers, disruptors, and forward-thinking leaders across multiple industries. Here is Glenn Gonzales, founder and CEO of Jedit.
Dennis, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I grew up there prior to heading off to the Air Force Academy, where I played Division I sports and fell in love with aviation. I've been in love with aviation as far as I can remember, but the first opportunity to actually touch an aircraft beyond just a passenger flight was there at the Academy, and things worked out. I had a chance to fly airplanes. I went on to fly T-38s initially as an instructor pilot after finishing pilot training. And then from there, I went on to fly F-15s. I love the flying of the F-15. I love my military brethren, but Air Force needs and family needs met at a crossroads, so I found my way to Gulfstream Aerospace and started traveling around the world, flying business jets, and recognized my passion for selling. And here we are now. So I started Jedit after selling Honda jets for about 4 years, and pretty excited about where we're headed.
Well, Glenn, first of all, for myself and all our listeners, thank you for your service. And I happen to know Colorado Springs and that area very well. I've had a lot of friends that have gone to the Academy. Great school. Sports is great there, especially the outstanding football program they have there. And it must be just an absolute thrill to continue what you started when it comes to being a pilot and flying, which I hear is an absolute thrill to doing this in the business. So we have a lot to talk about when it comes to Jedit. I have a feeling I know the answer to this question, but talk about the impetus as far as the idea of starting the company. You're co-founder, so you flew, you were a pilot, and you thought, well, maybe private aviation might be a good way to go. You obviously saw a hole in the business community, so tell us about how you came up with the idea.
Yeah, really, Dennis, it was just a function of talking to customers. As a salesperson, type A personality, you want to get the deal done. And time and again, I would hear the same thing. Glenn, I love the airplane. It's perfect for my needs, but I don't have a need for a whole aircraft. I'm only going to use it for 20 days out of the year, 30 days out of the year. Can you help me find a partner? Can you help me find a management company to help me offset my cost by chartering the aircraft? But don't charter it too much because I don't want my airplane value to go down because there are too many hours on it. Well, after having those discussions time and again with customers, I realized that, man, there's clearly a gap in the marketplace. These individuals aren't choosing the whole aircraft. They're not choosing the current offerings that are out there for other fractional or membership programs. So why is that? And created the Jedit business model with my co-founder. Recognized that the same need is prevalent around the world. We're currently in operation in Canada as well as in Europe. He runs Europe. We have a managing director, Jeremy Austin, who runs Canada. And we're expanding into more environments every quarter.
Glenn, before we talk about more specifics about your outstanding company, tell us about the mission statement when it comes to Jedit.
Yeah, our focus is very simple. Number one, we need to operate safely. Number two, we make people happy. And we make people happy by helping them get from A to B. Wherever it is that you're trying to go, we want to be there on time with the airplane, with the crew, fueled and ready to go so that you can get to where you want to be. Oftentimes, we use private travel for getting more out of life, getting more time in our day, getting more out of our week, and in turn, having grander experiences, whether that's for our business or for our family and friends. That's what we do. We create that opportunity. We give time.
I know one of the most important things is the selling per price per hour for you and your customers. Talk about how you came to that and the kind of response that you got from your clients.
Yeah, so our hourly rate is only $1,800 an hour. That's all in. That's the airplane, that's the crew, that's the fuel. There are no handling charges or reposition fees. Everything's all included in that number. And it's a tremendous value to have a twin-engine private jet that's comfortable, spacious, fast. It's just a remarkable opportunity for anyone in private aviation or looking for private travel. We can arrive at that price point by our business model, by the aircraft that we operate. The Honda jet is the most efficient jet in the world, for that matter, and in its category and size. But it's also our business model. We consider it a sharing economy, more of a symbiotic economy versus a sharing economy. In any barter system, you're trading one potato for 3 carrots, and those 3 carrots can be traded for a bushel of berries. Well, our business model is very similar. We're serving multiple players with a great balance of the owners get something that they want and need. They have an aircraft the entire day for $1,800 an hour for the lifetime that they're on the airplane. We as Jedit, we have the opportunity to charter the airplane when the owners aren't using it. And then we can then in turn serve the broader marketplace for a higher price point than our owners, but still favorable given the high efficiency of the Honda Jet.
Glenn, we talked to all our leaders and all CEOs about the pandemic. Not only did it affect all of us personally, but also professionally. And I'm curious, you're based out of Greensboro. You started in Delaware, and we'll talk about Greensboro and the city, how they've treated you. And I know it's really well and a great relationship. But with that said, 2 years ago, what happened with the company? How did you pivot to where it took you today?
Yeah, from that military experience, we recognize when there's an opportunity, more times than not, you want to run towards the flames. And that's what we did. We invested heavily into our business by acquiring the best talent that we could find. We started marketing more, although digitally, but we also were very close to our share owners. We communicated with them consistently to make sure they understood that we were working to mitigate any risk that they might have. We worked with them to adjust their number of days on an annual basis to make sure that if they're not going to use their days in a year, that we can support them for the times in the future. Again, it's all about the relationship and the value that we're trying to make sure that we can provide for them. And we did so by running towards the flames. COVID was actually a very good thing for our company, and really more so for our industry, I should say. And it's our opportunity to service our customers and to make sure they stay with us.
It's interesting that you say all that, Glenn, because I've talked to a lot of leaders and CEOs out there, and it was the real smart ones that did that major league pivot and actually got better during the pandemic, and all the things that they did to put it back together are now a better company today. So kudos to you and your team. I teased a little bit about Greensboro, North Carolina. I know this city is very important to you. You've got a great relationship. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Greensboro is, really, you could call it a new aerotropolis. It's pretty remarkable. We have Honda Aircraft Company, of course. Textron has a service facility. Hayco services a number of commercial aircraft. Boom Supersonic is on its way to the Greensboro area. It really is becoming quite the aerotropolis, as I like to call it. But it's also a great city for family, for giving. There's a great deal of wealth in the area, but most of it's very quiet, and that's great because they're doing things behind the scenes to give back to the community, to reinvest in young business leaders, young entrepreneurs, into our lesser advantaged communities. So it's a great town to be a part of. The state of North Carolina has been favorable to all things aviation. We're first in flight, and at Jedit, we kind of consider ourselves and the Honda Jet as next in flight.
I always also like to ask our leaders and our CEOs, Glenn, about differentiating yourself. When I talked about young people in my industry all the time, about how you're going to do that to separate yourself from everybody else. I imagine there's competition out there. So how has Jedit differentiated itself from everybody else for you to win all these awards and have all the success so far?
Yeah, my co-founder and I, we were fortunate enough to be named Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young for the Southeast region. A tremendous honor. But our first comment in any discussion about that, and I say it again today, that is a testament to the amazing people that we have. Our first differentiator is the great individuals that are leading at every level within our organization, within our company. We're incredibly proud of that. We're also very proud of the fact that everyone gets along. Obviously, our value proposition is what it is. We are the most cost-effective private jet solution anywhere, and that's helped us grow. We've found a thread in the market and have our finger on the pulse of what the market wants and needs. We're excited about having fast followers. That just means that we hit something in the market that others are now trying to replicate. The biggest differentiator for us is, yes, it's our value proposition. Yes, it's the fact that we are first to operate the Honda Jets. But we have some amazing people, great thinkers that are from all walks of professional and personal life. And we deploy them and give them the power to do whatever it is they need to. I view my number one responsibility as removing any obstacles that are preventing our team members from being their best.
Glenn, you've had some early success with hard work and a great business plan. With all that said, where's your industry going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, it's changing rapidly, Dennis. We recognize that we kind of consider ourselves on the leading edge of the evolution of transportation. What that means essentially is that people are looking for more autonomy and efficiency in how they travel. They want to leave when they want, and they don't want to have to stop numerous times to get there. But they also need to be able to do that cost effectively. The service that we receive on the commercial sector, if you look out throughout history, it constantly has degraded. You can see that mainly in trains. And years ago, trains had a Pullman porter walking through with all of the best desserts known to society at that point in time. You ride a train now, hopefully you can make your way all the way to the snack cart and maybe buy some M&Ms. It's that same level of degradation of service that I think we'll see in the commercial space. Their margins are thin, and they have to find other ways to continue to grow their business. And in large part, I think we'll see that through service, and that creates an opportunity for us, any fast followers of our business model and our predecessors in this industry.
Glenn, I love your analogy, not only because I believe exactly what you're saying, but I have a sweet tooth, so that makes perfect sense to me whatsoever. As we put a bow on our conversation, Glenn, is there anything you want to let our listeners know about when it comes to JetIt that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, there's so many things that are going on. We are a fast-growing business, and we're excited about building our foundation first. Oftentimes, companies will put their brand in front of the operations, and as an aviator, as an aviation company run by aviators, we recognize how important it is to have our operations first. That's first and foremost, and then after that, then we can communicate what it is that we're doing, and then we just have to execute. We're focused on a high level of service day in and day out, white glove, if you will. But the main thing is we want to make sure that we're in tune with whatever our customers' needs are, and we're servicing them to the highest level possible.
Outstanding. Glenn, if somebody is looking at a career or want to do business with you, want to be a possible client, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, whether you're looking for an opportunity from a career standpoint, you don't have to be in aviation, or you're looking for private travel yourself, you can find us online. It's gojetit.com. That's GOJETIT.com. Of course, we're also on all the various different social media platforms.
Glenn, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your service and continued success. The company sounds fantastic. Early growth, you're working hard with your team, and it sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your time on CEOs You Should Know.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for this time.